The NFL season is finally here, so make sure you're ready with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. It gives you the most live NFL games all in one place, exactly what you need to make your Sundays more magical. Sign up today at youtube.com/Sunday Ticket. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
At Vertex, we know the pace of global commerce is increasing, which makes managing tax more complex. And your enterprise systems weren't built to handle that tax complexity. This is where we come in with our platform that enables continuous compliance, giving you more transparency, improved accuracy, and better confidence in your tax data. To learn more about continuous compliance, visit vertexinc.com.
Welcome to the Two-Footed Extra Pod. This is our quick hit show where I'll unpack the latest news and gossip, plus rumours in the world of football. This show was brought to you by our friends over at Liberty Shield. Did you know that Liberty Shield's VPN service not only keeps your data safe, but can also help you bypass government blocks on IPTV streaming? When connected to Liberty Shield, your internet activity is encrypted, meaning your ISP can't see or block those crucial live football streams when you sit down to watch. It genuinely is the ultimate solution for staying connected and never missing a match. Right now, you can save 25% by using the code EPL25OFF. That's EPL25OFF at checkout. All caps, no spaces. Oh, and one more thing. For more in-depth analysis on the biggest talking points from around the world of football, don't miss my main show, the Two-Footed Podcast, with new episodes dropping every single weekday. And if you want more from EPL Index, don't forget our Tad Predictable preview show or the Final Whistle review show recorded immediately after the big Sunday match. Now, let's crack on. What's good, boys and girls? Two-Footed Podcast Extra on Wednesday, the 25th of September. Hope you're all well. We have a retirement to discuss today. Raphael Varane has chosen to retire from football. He joined Como in the summer. He played one game. He got injured in said game, and he has decided to retire from professional football. Now, Varane is only 31 years of age, wouldn't turn 32 until April, but he's decided that the toll that the game has taken on his body is no longer worthwhile. He's not enjoying his football anymore. This is a player that has been plagued by injuries through his career. A player who came through at Lens, moved to Real Madrid very early, and to the early years of his career, suffered with a lot of injuries. And, you know, he played 15, 33, 23 games his first three seasons, then managed 46, but then it was 33, 39. But then he did finish strong at Real because they were managing his league minutes a lot better, and he was able to stay relatively fit. But in the summer 2021, Real knew that the end was nigh. They knew he didn't have much left, that the injuries were going to start mounting up again. They made the decision to sell him to Manchester United. He spent 3 years with United. He never played more than 34 games in all competitions, never more than 24 in the Premier League. He did, of course, help them win 2 trophies to add to his impressive haul. Joined Como in the summer, and 1 game later he is done. So congrats to him on what has been a great career. It's just unfortunate that injuries denied us a player who legitimately could have become one of the greatest centre-backs to ever play the game. And I don't mean top 20, top 30. I think he's probably in that top 30 range as is. I'm talking top 5, top 6. That's the level of talent that Varane had. He won 3 league titles with Real Madrid and a Copa del Rey, but of course, most notably, he won 4 European Cups, 3 Super Cups and 4 Club World Cups, as well as 3 Spanish Super Cups at Manchester United, an FA Cup, and an EFL Cup, and of course he played in the France team that won the World Cup in 2018. He also won the Nations League in 2021. He was named in the 5th Pro team in 2018, as well as the UEFA Team of the Year that year. He was in the Champions League squad of the season that year, and the FIFA World Cup Fantasy Team and Dream Team, as well as the IFFHS Men's World Team. All in one season. Doesn't come close to reflecting the player he was, the player he should have been. He had a really, really good career. He had a great career. But he never became the truly great player that he should have been. He had moments, he had seasons even, when he was great. But he couldn't put them together consistently because of injury. Nothing else. It is purely injury. A sensational footballer on his day, but injuries just a constant factor. Knee injuries, hip injuries, concussions. It's just such a shame. He obviously retired from international football in February of 2023. He was only 29 at that point, remember. He won 93 caps for his country. Could easily have hung around and got himself to 100 caps, decided it wasn't worth the risks. 5 goals for his country, 2 in friendlies against Sweden and Brazil. He scored against Uruguay in the World Cup in 2018, and he scored 2 in Euro 2022 qualifiers, both against Moldova, though in different games. 489 club games, 21 club goals. He still played a ton of football, but when you consider that he made his debut in the 10-11 season, never got to 45 games. He did. He got to 45 games once, played 46 and 14-15. Never got to 50 games in a season. He's probably missed 150 games through injuries. Injuries and rotation. But, it's just a shame that injuries are such a cruel part of the sport. Obviously, big injury news recently has been Rodri. The BBC have a piece up asking who could City sign to replace him. Do they replace it in-house? They obviously have the option of John Stones potentially playing there. They've got Kovacic, they've got Nunes. They have got the possibility of recalling Calvin Phillips in January, recalling Peroni in injury. They can play Rico Lewis there. They have some options. Ilkay Gundogan has played there, of course. So they have some options. But there is a question of will they dip into the market in January? And some have suggested, maybe they'll look at Zubimendi. It's possible. It is possible. What they've got to find is somebody that can play instead of Rodri, and then with Rodri, if and when Rodri returns. I assume he's back for next season. I don't think he leaves City next summer, unless the worst happens for them and they are relegated for the many years of flagrant cheating. So who makes sense for January? Well, Bruno Guimaraes would make sense. He can play instead of Rodri, he could play with Rodri. So absolutely he would make sense. He would be expensive, but he would make sense. Martin Zubimendi, he would be expensive, less expensive than Bruno, but he could absolutely play with Rodri. No question there. Alan Varela. Varela could definitely play with Rodri. Romeo Lavia is not a realistic option, though I would imagine City would love to have him back, though he himself obviously has had a lot of injuries. Adam Wharton, potentially a great option, could fill in, as long as you put, say, Gundogan with him or Kovacic with him. I think he'd be fine, and then he'd be great with Rodri. Whenever it is that Rodri comes back. Ismail Benacer, if he didn't have the injury problems, he could be an option, but he does, so he won't be. I could potentially see Locatelli. as an option because they could buy him, and because of the cost, he wouldn't need to play with Rodri. He could be a backup. Johnny Cardoso, I know Spurs have first option on him. Carlos Baliba, if they decided to take a plunge on him, he could definitely play with Rodri. Samuel Ricci of Torino could be a good option, could definitely play with Rodri. Angelo Stiller absolutely would fit into how City play. Could fill in at the 6, though it's a bit of a clunky fit. He's not great defensively. He's got good positional sense, but he's a little bit soft at times. But tremendous on the ball and would fit well with Rodri. Who else could they look at? Rovella at Lazio, maybe? Possibly. Outside of that, I mean, Ziki Fernandez would have been great, but he decided to waste his career by going off to Saudi. And City have bought directly from South America before, so he could have been an option if he'd stayed with Boca. I mean, could Mandela Keita be an option? Because he could become the backup. He doesn't necessarily need to start alongside him. Ismail Doucouré of Strasbourg, very talented, would take some work. Matteo Prati of Cagliari, he'd be one that could come in as a backup. Shea Charles, another one they had, and he's not good enough to start for them, but he could fill a gap and then be a good backup. But they had him, they sold him. St. Anthony's now on loan at Sheffield Wednesday. So he is seen as being a little bit off the level of Premier League, even though I think Southampton made a mistake there. And beyond that, I mean, Emre Can as an experienced fill-in, maybe. Like I said, Perone could be one. Gorna Doet could be one. Bring him in, play him, then have him as backup and develop him. And maybe you get a long-term starter that way. Alexander, the Brazilian, is another one that decided to waste his time going to Saudi. Federico Redondo's a really interesting one. Super talented. Similar enough game to Rodri. Not sure he's ready for the Premier League at any level, especially from a physicality point of view. But the ceiling on his talent is very high. Magassa of Monaco, now very limited experience at centre-back, at defensive midfield, has primarily played as a centre-back, but huge talent, and might well be one that's worth consideration. And outside of that, I'm kind of struggling. Hugo Guillamon of Valencia, maybe, as one that could come in and fill in and then be the backup. That would be something to look at. He can also play centre-back, so he does give you that kind of versatility. But it's like you're not finding a straight replacement for him because he's the best in the world in this position. Kylian Mbappe is facing a spell on the sidelines after suffering a thigh injury, and looks like he could be out for a few weeks. Hopefully it's not too long. You don't want to see great players missing long chunks of the season like we've just talked about with Rodri. Ancelotti has said he was a little overloaded, so yeah. Hopefully it's nothing too serious and he's not out for too long. If he could miss the Liverpool game in the Champions League, though, that'd be great. Wimbledon's ground fund to help fix their pitch or potentially repair their pitch has already reached £100,000. And Newcastle have actually donated £15,000. The target was 10,000. They've now changed that and brought it up to 150,000 because they'll be able to do a lot more. I think that's incredible. I think it's great by Newcastle who made that big donation. I think that's a tremendous thing for them to do as well. There's a good piece on the BBC website about Che Adams and his move to Torino and how that's going. There's a piece about Ten Hag and his relationship with Twente. There's some suggested alternatives for City, including Leon Goretzka, who'd be an awful signing. The piece about Leicester and the tensions within the club. We have some more injury news, unfortunately. Aurora Galley of Everton has torn her ACL and is set to miss the whole season. The season that just began. So that's awful news for her and for Everton. Right, back after the break with the gossip.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right, welcome back. So, Arsenal are eyeing a move for Dusan Vlahovic of Juventus next summer. It's team talk, so, you know. Real Madrid hold an interest in William Saliba, but Arsenal have no intention to negotiate the potential sale of the French defender. Now, this is an exclusive by Steve Kay. You wouldn't put any faith at all into what that spoofer has to say. But I would imagine Arsenal will be desperate to hold on to him, though he is enormously overrated. He is a good defender, and he's young. If Real put 100 million on the table, though, which would be an enormous overpay, I think Arsenal probably would take it. Manchester United are closely monitoring Eddie Howe's situation at Newcastle. Dan Ashworth and Eddie Howe didn't get on. So Wayne VC is making things up again. Barcelona sporting director Deco is looking at a potential move for John Duran. Now that's El Nacional, which is basically Spanish spoofing, so probably crap. Brentford and Fulham both interested in Callum Wilson. Man City are looking to sign a defensive midfielder and have put together a 4-person list, which includes Martin Zubimendi, Adam Wharton, Ederson, and Nicola Barea, who's not a defensive midfielder at all. So that's team talk, just making things up. Liverpool have identified Mark Guehi as a long-term successor to Virgil van Dijk. No, they have not. This is not an exclusive, Wayne VC. You are telling lies again. Mikhail Mudryk is moving closer to leaving Chelsea in January. This is another exclusive for Football Insider. This time it's Peter Rourke telling the lies. Manchester United considered a move for Ivan Toney before he joined Al Ahly, but he did not fit the desired profile. Don't know what that means. Sounds like nonsense, to be honest. United remain interested in Benjamin Sesko. So maybe the desired profile is extremely unproven, very talented but very young forwards who won't get enough goals. Varane retiring. PSG have cooled their interest in Joshua Kimmich in a boost to Liverpool and other interested clubs. Liverpool have no interest in Joshua Kimmich. Prospective Everton owner Dan Friedkin will make deciding the future of Sean Dyche one of his first acts. I think there might be a change. I think there might be. The season hasn't started well. I could see a change. Former England manager Gareth Southgate is prepared to reject other offers and hold out for the Manchester United job should Erik ten Hag appear in danger of getting sacked. Well, United are currently in the bottom half. Now, this is an exclusive by Give Me Sport, who now seem to have put their nonsense behind a paywall, but I can still see that this is Dean Jones spoofing. Former Arsenal Poland goalkeeper Wojciech Szczesny would be willing to come out of retirement to sign for Barcelona. I thought about him, but I thought because he was retired, he was probably set on that. But, I could see it making sense. He's not a great goalkeeper, but he's fine. And, for a keeper of his abilities, if he gets to the end of his career and he has played for Arsenal, Roma, Juventus and Barcelona, that would be absolutely staggering, quite frankly. Now, there are rumours that he has agreed a 1-year deal. Haven't seen it confirmed yet, but there are rumours that he has agreed a 1-year deal to go to Barcelona. He also, I should point out, did play for Brentford on loan in the 09-10 season. And his spell at Roma was obviously 2 years on loan as well. Yeah, okay. And then finally, French midfielder Enzo Zidane, son of Zinedine Zidane, has decided to retire at the age of 29, having been without the club since leaving Fuenlabrada in 2023. Not so much that he has decided to retire, but the game retired him. He left Real Madrid in 2017. He spent time at Alaves. It didn't work out. Went to Lausanne in Switzerland. It didn't work out. Had a loan with Rayo Majadahonda in what I assume is like the 4th or 5th division. The 4th tier in Spain. Then played for Aves. Almeria didn't work out. Rodez didn't work out. And Fuenlabrada. Not to be unkind, the only reason he ever played above, let's take it to English terms, the only reason he ever played above League One, League Two is because his surname is Zidane. League One would have been the cap of his ability as a player. League Two was about right. But the surname obviously carries significant weight. His dad is one of the greatest players of all time. His brother Luca is a decent player. He's a goalkeeper. He is decent. He was at Eibar and he was quite good. He's now gone to Granada. So he's fine. He would have made a decent career for himself without the surname. Teo and Elias I haven't seen a ton of. Teo went to Cordoba this past summer, in the Segunda Division. So we'll see how he gets on. Elias is, I think, at Betis now, playing for Betis B. He's a centre-back. He does look promising. He might be the one that has the best career. Big, he's rangy, he's left-footed as well. He's a really good passer of the ball. So Elias Zidane might be the one that actually goes on and has a good to very good career. The others, not so much. Not so much. Luke is good. Luke is decent. Teo, we'll see. We'll see. What's interesting is Teo's 6'5", Elias is 6'5". Luca, the goalkeeper, is only 6 foot flat. Enzo's 6'1". Now, Zizou obviously is a big dude. Zizou is, I think, 6'2". It says he's 6'1". I think he's about 6'2". He's a big guy. So his kid's obviously got cut his jeans. But we'll see if any of them turn out to have anything resembling his talent. That will do me for today, folks. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.